All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about one of the biggest changes happening in education. How AI is going from some far-off idea to a real tool that teachers and students can use right now. And it all starts by tackling a problem that every single teacher knows all too well. Think about it. It's this classic, almost impossible challenge. You're a teacher, you're standing in front of a classroom, or maybe a lecture hall with 100 students. Every single one of them learns differently, at their own speed, with their own strengths and weaknesses. How on earth do you create a lesson that works for all of them? Well, for pretty much forever. The honest answer was you couldn't. It just wasn't possible. Teachers are heroes, they do their best, but the system was always built on this one-size-fits-all model. It was really the only practical approach. But that whole reality, it's starting to crumble. We are living through what academics call a paradigmatic shift. That's a fancy way of saying the fundamental rules of the game are changing, and AI is what's rewriting them. So what does this new world actually look like? Well, it all begins with AI's incredible ability to finally deliver on the promise of personalized learning. The core idea here is something called adaptive learning systems. Okay, so think of these not as a textbook, but as a personal tutor for every single student. These AI platforms watch how a student is doing, figure out where they're getting stuck, and then, this is the magic part, they change the lesson on the fly to help that student succeed. And this isn't science fiction. It's already happening. You have platforms like Newton that can make the next question harder or easier based on your last answer. Then there's Carnegie Learning's Mathia, which is like a math detective, figuring out the exact reason a student is struggling with a problem. And over in China, Squirrel AI is doing something amazing. It's creating completely unique, from-scratch lesson plans for every single kid. Okay, so that's fantastic for the students. But what about the teachers? How does this tech actually help them? How does it become a tool they can actually use to make their jobs more manageable and honestly, more impactful? This is where AI truly becomes a co-pilot. So picture this. An instructor just gives the AI a basic prompt. I'm teaching a course on X, here are my goals. In seconds, the AI spits out a full syllabus. We're talking weekly breakdowns, reading lists, assignment ideas, the whole thing. But, and this is the most important part, the human is still in charge. The teacher takes that draft, tweaks it, customizes it, and makes sure it's perfect. The AI does the boring busy work, which frees the educator up to do what only they can do, teach and inspire. So AI can help with planning, but what about writing? To really put this to the test, the source material for this explainer set up this awesome little experiment, kind of an academic editing smackdown between three of the biggest names in AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude. And this was the prompt. They gave the AI this chunk of text. And, it's fine, but it's a little clunky, right? The phrasing is a bit awkward. The task was simple. Rewrite this to sound like polished, professional, academic English. And here's what ChatGPT came back with. Wow. It's an immediate, obvious improvement. The flow is better, the word choice is so much more precise, expand the knowledge, continuous improvement. It just sounds so much better. But this is where it gets really interesting. When you look at the head-to-head comparison, ChatGPT was fantastic. It performed almost as well as a professional human editor. Gemini was okay, it did the job, but the real shocker here was Claude. It barely changed anything. It kind of failed the test. And that's a huge lesson. For any given task, not all AI tools are created equal. You have to find the right tool for the job. Okay, but hold on, because we're about to take a giant leap. We're moving beyond what AI can do with just words. We're now in an era where AI has a new sense. That sink in. I'm going to say it again. AI can now see. It can look at an image, understand it, and analyze it. And this is unlocking mind-blowing possibilities in literally every field, from art history to medical diagnostics. So to see how real this is, the researchers ran another amazing test. They took an image of this famous painting by Peter Paul Rubens. But here's the kicker. They gave it to the AI completely unlabeled. No artist name, no title, zero context. And they just asked, what can you tell me about this? The result was just stunning. ChatGPT not only correctly identified the painting, the artist, and the style, but it gave a college-level analysis. It started talking about composition, the use of diagonal lines, the dramatic lighting, chiaroscuro, and even the painting's core symbolic meaning. Just incredible.
Now, Gemini also identified the painting correctly, but it did something different. Its real strength was in comparison. It immediately started putting the work into a broader historical context, contrasting Rubens's dramatic Baroque style with the calmer, more balanced art of Renaissance painters like Botticelli.
So you see how they have different superpowers, right? This table just makes it so clear. If you're a teacher and you need a structured, perfectly organized analysis for a lecture tomorrow, ChatGPT is your tool. But if you want that deep, scholarly, textbook-level interpretation, Gemini gives you that rich, comparative detail. Two different tools, two brilliant but distinct results. All of this incredible power is, well, incredible, but it leads us, inevitably, to the single most important part of this entire conversation. What is the human's role in all of this? And the message from the research community could not be clearer. We need to think of AI as a co-pilot, not an autopilot. The AI is there to help, to offer suggestions, to generate drafts, to do the heavy lifting. But the human educator must be the one in the pilot seat. They are the final authority, the one who applies wisdom, ethics, and a deep understanding of their students. And that means we absolutely cannot just roll these tools out without thinking. We need strong, clear, ethical guardrails. We're talking about the big stuff, protecting student data for sure, actively looking for and rooting out algorithmic bias so the AI doesn't disadvantage certain students. We need transparency to know why an AI is making a suggestion. And above all, we have to protect human oversight and student agency, making sure these tools build critical thinking instead of crushing it, and ensuring every student has access, not just a privileged few.
So look, there's just no question that AI is becoming the new co-pilot in education. The potential to create a more personalized, more effective, and more equitable learning experience for everyone is right there in front of us. It's real. The only question left is ours to answer. Are we ready to take the controls and fly this thing right? Thank you for joining this Explain.